Get ready for another microdose. And hey, if this information is jiving with you, then check out the full episode. The link is in the show notes. Enjoy the ride. Stephen Pressfield talks to as what she refers to as resistance. And it's interesting because he defines resistance not just as an idea, but an actual identity. And I like that he says like an actual entity. That's it, more of the word, more of an entity that is within all of us and around us all the time. And he very succinctly and so beautifully writes, he goes, resistance is a universal force that acts against human creativity and endeavors. It's described as a faceless, formless, and heartless energy whose sole purpose is to prevent individuals from starting and completing their creative work. Resistance manifests in various forms such as rationalizing, fear, anxiety, procrastination, self-doubt, and even sabotage by others. It is an internal sensation. Think about that. It's an internal sensation that is more powerful than any external obstacle and is particularly potent when individuals attempt to pursue work that is important to their soul's evolution. Wow. Right?
Mind-blowing, yeah.
That is... I know, really mind-blowing. And he really hits on so many levels. And really, that's kind of, I love those last two words, is what all this mindfulness and everything we're talking about, wellness, is the soul's evolution, right? Really upgrading that operating system, upgrading that software, because we can try to deny our energetic soul self that we are, right? But that's who we are. And that's who we're, if you really want to, that's who we're trying to get to a little bit more every single day.
And you know, why are we talking about this here, where he talks about completing their creative work? Resistance prevents individuals from starting and completing their creative work. Well, in one way, you are your own creative work, right? Taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, your mind. You create yourself in a way, right? Obviously, I'm not going to get into the religious side of what created us and put us on, but what can we do? What do we have in our power to further refine who we are, what we are? And that's the creative work that we're referring to, is it taking care of your wellness, practicing wellness, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever that is. A creative work. So that's why we're bringing it up, because that same stuff, all that same stuff that Will read about, that Stephen Pressfield writes about, it keeps us from practicing wellness. It can be the rationalizing, the fear, the anxiety, the procrastination, self-doubt, and even sabotage by others. And that sabotage by others, it's not necessarily the enemy. It could be our friend being like, hey man, don't worry about hitting the gym. Let's go get effed up. Right. Let's go drink. Let's go drink. Let's go eat, a gallon of ice cream.
Whatever it is. Right.
Or, I mean, it could even be your family. Right. And they won't intentionally be sabotaging you, but I've got kids, and I will find they don't eat the food on their plate. So what do? I eat the food. that's
right.
I would like to say that's them sabotaging me, but in actuality, it's myself. I'm sabotaging myself, and I'm blaming it on others. And that's another thing, is we blame others when it's not their fault.
Very true.
So anyhow, so where else do you want to go here, man?
Well, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence in a second, but I love what you brought up there, John, about, you're your own artist. You're the only creator of your experience. Da Vinci, when he was chiseling out David, right? Statue David, he's like, someone asked him, like, how did you do that? He's like, oh, David was always in the stone. I just chipped away the excess. And you, as your own artist, needs to chip away all the excess, all the things that gets in the way from the brilliant, right, self that you are, right, deep inside of you. But it takes work. It takes these kind of practices. So where are you going to start? But I think, let's just close with this, John. So all of this, everything we're kind of talking about here, and what really drives the human experience is our emotion. So what we need to be very aware of and become more aware of, and work to become continually more aware of and more literate in this realm, is our emotional intelligence. So, where do you want to start with that, John? I think this is the key to all of it.
I think a lot of the time people, when they think about emotional intelligence, they think about, well, how do I relate to others at work or in my family? But there's really a piece of emotional intelligence that just ties to understanding where you are emotionally. And I think that's a critical piece of it. When we tie it to wellness, you have to be, and again, doing this without judgment, which is mindfulness, right? but where am I emotionally? Am I doing okay? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling depressed? And I say specifically feeling there because those are emotions, not identities. I don't want to say I am stressed. I am depressed. You said that, you know, that, or that I am am a stressed person, or I am a depressed person. You're feeling that, and that's an emotion, and that's perfectly human. And being aware of the difference there, I think that's a huge piece of emotional intelligence that ties into wellness. But, you know, what else does emotional wellness do for us, and how else do we express it? You know, there's the improved relationships, certainly, that we have, more empathy, compassion, right? And that's at work. That's with your family. Again, it's also with yourself. You have a better relationship with yourself. Better stress and emotional management as a big piece of it. What else, man?
Well, just even becoming more aware of, again, those feelings. You know, think about when you're angry or when you're really frustrated with something. How do you act? Like when you are, well, that's what you just said. It's like, I am frustrated. When you identify with your frustration, right? You act in a frustrated way. So I know when I'm frustrated, I'm very short with people. I'm trying to control the situation, you know, maybe even trying to like put other people down so I can, you know, get out of this frustrating circumstance. So when we name it to tame it is a super key concept here, right? We create more clarity by calming down, right? By finding our breath, being a better meditator, practicing on a regular basis. So I really get to now oriented instead of mind orientation. And therefore, once that clarity comes online, then I can really gain that broader perspective. So I can see when my emotion comes up, I'm like, whoa, that's frustration. And I can name it. So like, I don't want to go there. So I'm taming frustration. Like, no. I like that. I'm not going to go down the frustration route. So therefore, this all leads to enhanced decision making, because here I am, right, being responsible of my emotions, not attaching to them, and making a choice that aligns with what's needed in that particular circumstance or the intention that I've been trying to exercise in this particular moment. So that's huge. And it is an increased resilience as well. So instead of you, again, being a slave to the amygdala hijack, which drives you into that emotional experience, which gives you those emotional results, which usually, you know, are usually regretting or backpedaling or apologizing for, I can just be with my emotions. I can let frustration and overwhelm and stress kind of move through me. We had Sam Calvert on the show recently. He talked about the 90-second rule. We have basically most emotions, they linger in our consciousness and our being energetically and in our mind for 90 seconds. So you just got to kind of wait it out. Take some breaths, step away, you know, take a little walk, you know, just to kind of let go of that. And that's going to really help you to become more resilient. So you become a better decision maker, you know, and improve any relationship, especially to yourself. And this has been shown, right? This emotional intelligence, it's going to create more job satisfaction and performance, right? IQ gets you hired. EQ is what gets you promoted, because I know that I only want to work with people like John. He's a good dude. He's emotionally responsible. He's not like, you know, blaming me for shit all the time that I didn't even do. Like he's really just
not out loud anyway.
Dude. Yeah, right. I know. I never hear it. So I don't want to hear it anyway, John, because I'm fucking perfect. I'm perfect, dude. Perfect.
Hey, thanks for joining us on this journey. Small doses lead to big changes. If you're vibing with this snippet, then take a listen to the full episode by clicking the link in the show notes. If you would like to plug in deeper to what we're doing, head to mentalkingmindfulness.com or text MTM to 33777. Until next time, peace.